try this again. You're deciding what car you'd like to go into for lunch.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. What was the last thing you said about Edmund?
Edmund will follow you guys forever. Also, David, for the sake of recording, if we get to the point that you're like, this is not going to be usable audio on your end, just let me know and we can just postpone.
I think we're fine.
Okay.
At least on my end, it's gotten clearer, and I think we'll be okay. And as long as Craig can hear you guys, I think we're good.
Okay. Then yeah, so Edmund will go wherever the majority of you guys go.
All right. Well, in that case, let's try and stick together where we can, especially if there is someone trying to cause some shenanigans here. So let's all go to number 4 then.
Good to me.
All right. You do have to walk through cart 6, cart 5, and cart 5 to get there. When you pass through car 6, you do see Eugene, the poison dart grung, sitting at a table, as well as you see Brutus, the Goliath, sitting at a separate table, writing in a book. And then on the far end of the room, you can see the Flamefur family, which is the Tabaxi family, also sitting down in this car. And as you walk past, no acknowledgement, everyone's doing their own thing. You then pass through another, as you open the door, another set of cabins. Once again, another probably 4 rooms in this one. The numbers in this car are going to be rooms. Hold on, my brain is frying. Hold on. Yes. Rooms 3, 2, and 1. Mm-hmm. And you pass through. And you've reached little car 4. And inside, there's a couple different empty booths. Otherwise, sitting in 2 separate tables are going to be the Tabaxi older woman, that is more of a Rex cat, and then Reginald, who you met earlier, who is your Falcon Aarakocra.
All right. I suppose I say to the group that we've got, do we want to intrude on anyone else, or should we keep to ourselves given the circumstance?
I think it's a little too early to reconvene with anyone. I say we keep a couple booths to ourselves. Unless we all want to fit into one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. We can people watch. Look for anyone suspicious.
So are y'all fitting into one booth, or are you gonna sit separately?
I'll sit separately. Mako will sit separately.
Okay. How about the other 2?
Kitasha will sit with Edmund.
Okay.
And just kind of do understanding that he's had a kind of a morning. We'll just kind of talk to him about nothing's like pleasant small talk. Talk about what he's most excited to see once they hit Radiance.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it is outside of the scope of the fair. And just trying to keep his mind busy.
Yeah, no, he's definitely up to partaking in this. Just really quick, Joe, were you also sitting with Edmund, or were you sitting elsewhere?
I'll probably sit with Mako unless Mako clearly wants to be alone.
Well,
I imagine there's a bit of in character, like Joe kind of looking at one table and then the other, and kind of stalling in the middle and being like, "Oh, what's the social thing to do
Elliot, every time he's in a social group with my family.
here?"
There's so many chairs. Which one's for me?
Accurate. Yeah, does Mako have any quorum or anything?
no objection.
Nice. All right. To go back really quick to Kitasha's conversation, Edmund will actually mention one of the things outside of the fair he's looking forward to seeing is there is a big statue of the two liberators of Radiance back probably about 90, 80 years ago. If he remembers their names correctly, he thinks it was something along the lines of Hella and Jalen, but he could be wrong. But there's apparently a very, very large marble statue in the very center of town dedicated to those two, and he's quite interested to see the depiction of those two. He also has mentioned that there is apparently a couple of libraries there that seem to have quite an expansive amount of knowledge on just about everything. Apparently there's also some stuff that has been, saved from the, again, 100 plus years ago, during the reign of the Templar. And he's quite interested in maybe if there's time getting a chance to go through and take a look at some of those books.
Okay. And as he's talking, Kitasha will do we'll try to slyly read the room.
Okay.
And I'm totally fine with rolling, or we can just use my killer wicked passive insight.
You can use your passive. It's all good. You can just, as you're reading the room, it's a very calm atmosphere. The Tabaxi woman, who I don't believe any of you have spoken to yet, is merely just looking out the window, just blissfully awaiting her food. And Reginald, who you spoke to previously, seems to already have a new book in his hand. Really quick, just because it was fun, I would like you to roll a perception check to see if you can read the title.
Let's see, we'll add my D4. Okay, 22.
For
I
those
got
who are
special eyes.
you do have those special eyes. For anyone who listened / was in the last campaign, you might find this humorous. The book is titled Yoko Ono and the Downfall of the Templar.
Ah, yes. She had a weird fixation with, bugs, I think.
I would also like to just let Anna know that David did the character Yoko Ono and did not know the significance of that name. That was
I
fun.
am appalled.
But yeah, so he just looks to be nose deep in or beak deep in a novel. And as you're observing, the staff begin coming out of the kitchen cab. And on the plates that you are served, you can see a meal consisting of Orcish-style fermented vegetables and a lamb stew.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Kitasha will be very excited. And if she notices that Edmund is, I guess, intimidated,
Mhm.
because he feels very Forgive me, Elliot. He seems very British and potentially scared of spices.
Yes.
So just like anything with like a lot of vinegar might be too much for him. So Kitasha will kind of walk him through the traditional way to eat these
Just
veggies with this
as a
stew.
lore check, I don't know if this is down to a dice roll, but is the meal actually orcish, or like is it like well done, or is it just like someone who's not an orc and has no idea what they're doing?
Is
You
it
know what?
orcish inspired or is it?
Kitasha knows. Joe, go ahead and roll me a history check to see if
Oh
you know.
no!
While you're rolling that, I would love to point out the fact that Anna is saying this about the vinegar stuff, and it's just reminding me how you, Elliot, don't like anything pickled. And it's just so fitting.
Although I do really like vinegar, so what do I know?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Vinegar goes on fries.
Well, that's
I don't
malted
make the rules.
vinegar. That's a very different kind of vinegar.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I rolled a 19 for the history.
You'd think this is actually a pretty good attempt at orcish food.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good, from your knowledge. Kitasha, it's a very, this would normally be like a very home-style meal, and they've tried to kind of elevate that, like Ratatouille in Ratatouille.
They try to ratatouille it.
They did, they didn't exactly succeed. It's good. It's, to you, it's not as good as just if they just went more simple with it.
Mm-hmm.
They added a bit, like, they kept going, like, if we add this in there, and you're like, parsnips don't belong in this stew.
Yeah, I think Kitasha will be very excited to eat it, and then like she'll have one bite, and then like the slow chew of a parent who's like eating their child's cooking for the first time.
Yes.
If that's like here, this is like Kitasha's face, and like slow, intentional like eating of the stew.
That's okay. Edmund will look up, oh, is it not to your liking?
It's close, but it's not quite as traditional as how it is at insert country here, because I don't have the picture of it, and we've only referenced it once, and it's been like a month.
Akamoros, I believe.
Agavor?
Akamoros.
Akamoros. Okay. It's not quite. It doesn't quite taste like Akamoros, but it's close. I think it's as close as it's going to be without hopping on a boat and going.
Oh, well, at least that's good. Yeah, they don't, most of the time they don't tend to get most things 100% accurate. I think because they try to do such a wide, from my understanding, a wide variety of cultures' foods on the train. It's hard to really keep up with all of the different styles, especially if the chefs aren't trained in it.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, like this bit of leek here, it has been fermented the proper amount. But then you have this parsnip that doesn't belong here. This is clearly not from Akamoros. And Kitasha will start like rattling off like, this would have like a fermented fish with it typically, and it would have like a specific type of like bread, and it's not like without the and just like word vomit food.
He's absorbing every word of it. Mako, give me a investigation check or a perception. The
Perception? Alright. Can do that.
2 cats. I can't.
It's 17.
You notice that as Kitasha has been talking, Reginald, sitting a couple tables in front of you, has seemed to stop reading, is kind of like inclined his ear to listen.
Ah, man like the drama.
It's up to you what to do with that information. How are Mako and Joe enjoying the food? Or are they enjoying it?
Yeah, pretty good.
It's probably fairly new to Mako, actually. I mean, like,
Since Mako hasn't left New Dragon Rook, I'm assuming every kind of most things culturally are new to her.
yeah, and like, I think Kitasha is her first like orcish or Tabaxi or orcish friend. So like, there's no Tabaxi friends. There's no one would have taken her to a Akamorian like diner or anything like that. So this dish is new. I don't know if she'd like it. Like, I don't know what kind of palate would you expect a rabbit to have?
Lots of plain vegetables.
She might like the fermented veggies, or maybe a couple of them.
I think the fermented veggies come across as off to her.
Probably, to be
Um,
honest.
But Mako, Mako's, subsisted on military rations for long enough that food is food. And
It
will,
might be like texture-wise not great for Mako. I don't know if taste-wise it would be an issue, but I feel like if Mako survived on like hardtack and dry rations, having something that's like fermented, a little slimy, and like pungent
yeah,
might be off-putting.
Mako's not enjoying this experience, but that's besides
Mako's happy that Kitasha's kind of happy. Got it.
it's besides the point. So, yeah.
That is what Kitasha is taking away from this experience.
Mm-hmm.
The friendship bracelets glow slightly as friendship increases.
Oh no, it's increased in meter.
Oh. Unless there's anything specific that you guys want to do or anyone you want to talk to, your lunch will continue as normal. You can have small talk, or if you want to go talk to anyone else on the train while you're here. Basically, you guys will be free until 3 p.m., which is when your afternoon tea will be. And then, as you are eating, a member of staff will come out, and today will be a flute solo by a, for once, human staff member.
Those
What are they
exist.
doing?
Wait a minute.
There are humans.
Name one.
They do exist.
I think I'll probably say to Mako partway, early into the meal. I was thinking about my relationship and yours as well, your potential future relationship.
Mhm.
No, not like that. My wife would spend a lot of her time out adventuring and exploring the world and seeing all these sights, and I'd only be really hearing the stories and living in the same little street, in the same small shop. And I think it's been quite interesting for me to experience the world and see all of that. I don't know what I'll do after this, after we find our people again, and I don't know what my life will look like after that, but I wonder if I do want to start trying to push myself forward to continue on this path, seeing more of the world. It's scary and it's exciting a little bit.
I mean, You've definitely grown a lot in just the short weeks I've known. It's been weeks, hasn't it? Or has it been longer than that?
It's been longer than that.
How long has it been?
I think it's been 3 months at this
Has it
point.
been 3 months?
Yes,
Okay.
it's been a couple of months. Because several of your missions took at least a week, if not longer.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. You've certainly grown in the few months I've known you. I have to imagine that at your current rate, you will be a first-rate adventurer by the time we complete our mission.
I don't know about going all that far, but yeah, I'd like to think so. I wonder if I start bringing my daughter along to these.
Maybe when she's a little
You know,
older.
Maybe a little older. I suppose she could join the guild.
Yeah, as they're talking, Kitasha's like, how old is this child? Is this
You've
child
seen
old enough
this
to be sent
child.
out?
You've seen
She's
this
like
child. This child is not
9.
very old.
Yeah, maybe like 8 or 9. I think I had in my head.
If she's 8 or 9, then that changes Mako's perspective because Mako started
Yeah,
training when she was
Kitasha's like,
6.
no, she's way too young.
Yeah. Oh wait, shit! You haven't started her training yet. What do you mean?
Yeah, Mako's there like, it's too late, buddy. She's not going to improve enough. It's far too late. Meanwhile, Katasha's like, too young.
Yeah, I guess without putting my foot in it, I just would you be okay living a life that doesn't include seeing these new sights and traveling and experiencing this newness?
It's hard to say. You know, the future is the future's a different place, and I am confident that I will learn to be content with whatever hand I'm dealt, as I have been so far.
Well, if you do end up getting married at the end of this year and you do start that new life, if you ever want somebody to come over and spar with you so you can make sure you don't lose all that swordsmanship skill, then I can ask someone like Kitasha.
Katasha, she just don't know she's for held a sword.
I still feel like she'd do better than me with the sword. Somehow. That's the impression I'm getting.
I appreciate that.
The offer still stands.
I appreciate it.
I guess with the flute music going, Joe would have settled back into his chair and enjoy it, hearing something a little different.
Mm-hmm. Okay, unless there is anything anyone else is wanting to do during the lunch period, the flute solo will end and the staff will begin filing out to gather up the empty plates and return them all to the kitchen.
Okay. Are any of the serving staff overly attentive to Edmund?
Give me a perception check.
Perception?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll add my D4. Oh, almost as high. No, it's not quite the highest it could go. 24.
Man, you're just killing it on the rolls today. Yeah. None of the staff seem particularly interested in anyone. Well, not true. They're not really particularly interested in your group. They are very attentive to both the Tabaxi woman and to Reginald, but you're pretty sure that's because those two are both in luxury suites.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, otherwise though, and like you can't really tell because the other people on the train are in different cars, but they don't seem to really be paying much mind to you guys or Edmund. They're just being courteous. They're not, like flat out ignoring you, but it's just come by, pick up plates, ask if you need anything else, leave. They're much more laying it on thick for the other two attendants of this car.
Okay. It's not them.
You hope.
I mean, unless they're able to out-stealth my perception. Or out-deceive
Yeah,
my insight.
fair.
My special eyes.
Your special eyes. But yeah. You guys are free to move about the cabin. Please keep your seatbelts fastened if you're staying seated. But yes, you are good to interact as you want. Basically, you are in Danganronpa terms, it's the free period where you could go talk to people, or you could sleep, or you can do whatever until your next meal.
I think Joe may want to go out of comfort zone and talk to people, but as long as that wouldn't distract him from the task at hand, which is obviously looking after Edmund and spotting danger. So I think he might go and speak to the Tabaxi, who he hasn't spoken to yet, but only if he's keeping Edmund in sight, or at least feeling confident that the other two have keeping an eye on him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What would Kitasha and Mako like to do?
Kitasha doesn't want to necessarily leave Edmund alone, because the last time Edmund was pretty much alone with Mako and Joe, he got burned.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Understandable.
Let's see. Joe is talking to the lady. Let's see. Was there another passenger we hadn't been introduced to in cart 6? Because there was the Grung and
Brutus was the one.
Goliath.
Yeah,
the Goliath.
The only member of the Flame Fur family that any of you have interacted with was Mako with Francine, which is the young daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was also a elf man that you saw at some point on the trip, but you're not sure which cart he's in. He wasn't in the 2 that you walked past, so he must be in cart 8, you would say. But yeah, it would be the Tabaxi woman, the elf man, and then the majority of the Tabaxi family.
Okay. Kitasha will turn to Edmund. Edmund, was there anyone that you recognized on the train?
No.
Anyone you may want to catch up with or speak to?
I think that was the Flame Furs who were on the train, the Tabaxi family with the 2 small children. I've had a brief interaction with them a while back. It's been ages, though. I mean, I do know, and he'll kind of lower his voice a little bit. Miss Pennigold Everhart over there, pointing to the Tabaxi that's in the room with you guys. But I don't want to bother her. She's having a wonderful time already here. So
He says as Joe goes to bother her.
I know.
Exactly.
I was just like, she's over there, and Joe's just like,
yeah, Edmund will just kind of like not acknowledge Joe is going over there.
well, I think now would be a good time to stretch the legs. I've heard that's really good after eating. Why don't we go see the Flame Fur family?
Oh.
See if we can rekindle your acquaintance.
Sure, yeah. If you think that would be nice, and you guys can stand up and start walking towards cart 6, which is where they are. Mako, really quick before I do a couple cut betweens in the different conversations. What's Mako want to do?
Honestly, Mako kind of wants to patrol, just patrol up and down the train where she's allowed to be.
I'm sorry, my audio cut out, and it was like, honestly, I think Mako just wants to troll. I was like, what? Since when? Yeah, she can
Tasha's
patrol.
obviously rubbing off on her.
Yeah, Mako can do some patrolling.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mako will be the last person I'm going to cut to. Let's go ahead and start with Joe.
I guess he goes over to her. She's like looking out the window. Just sits down next to her and just says,
Next to her, goodness gracious,
well,
Ray Charles is back.
wait. I was picturing it like on like a row of benches, but is she at a table?
Yeah, it's booth style tables.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Then across from her, I get a seat that's near to her.
Mm-hmm.
And say, Penny, for your thoughts.
She'll kind of look at you. Pardon me. I don't think we've met before. I'm Pennigold Everhart. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir.
Topaz, Joe Topaz. So I've been trying to get to know some of the people on the train since we've got a relatively long journey ahead, and I thought I'd try and meet some new faces. So I just thought I'd stop by, and since I hadn't come across you before.
Well, I'm glad I could make a impression, I guess. Yes,
Sorry to put you on the spot. I suppose what brings you to the city of Radiance?
Oh, I'm merely here for the train, darling. I just find the train quite fun. I get tickets on whatever transport is currently all the rage, and I like to watch the train go by.
This isn't your first time on a train, then?
Oh no, I've gone quite a few places wherever we've got the rails up at the moment. Really, I'm quite excited about going over the sea though on a train. That'll be quite the novel experience.
I think so. I can't think I've done much traveling, so this is all very new for me.
Oh, really? Oh, travel is quite fun. Especially traveling in such luxury as this. The rooms, no, not quite as spacious as I would really like. We must rough it every once in a while. You think to the fact that she's staying in the luxury suites, which are triple the size of your room where you are sharing a 4-bunk room that just barely has enough space to walk. Yes, we must rough it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Joe's gonna say it's amazing to see how the other people live.
Oh, isn't it though? It's incredible. It's, quite a novel experience. I've heard about these, like, little rental places to see. Just, like, go stay at an inn. Oh, isn't that exciting?
I know someone who once stayed in a tent on purpose.
Oh, my. What a novel experience. I could never do it myself. My bones are too old for that.
Well, do you think you'll even get out of the city, or will you be staying in the train for straight away the return?
Oh, well, we'll be parked in Radiance for quite a little ways, so it wouldn't make much sense. I actually think I might take an airship back once we get there. Those are supposed to be quite nice, too.
We have the desert ships. Wait, would Joe know that?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
This is
All right.
not a new thing.
All right.
I'm not talking, like, Treasure Planet ships. I'm more meaning, like, blimp
yeah, big blimp.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun. I don't believe I've ever been on one of those.
Oh, you must try it, darling. They're quite fun. Though when the winds pick up, they can be quite a bumpy ride.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Well, I hope this goes well. Are you someone that likes your own company, or would you be happy for somebody else to share some with you?
Oh, well, how forward of you. Young man, I'm much too old for you.
Oh, no, not like this. No, I just meant, did you want somebody to keep you
She's
company on the?
laughing behind her hand.
Yeah, this is a Joe faux pas. This a Joe pas, if you will. This is him
Rijopa!
putting his this is him putting
God,
his foot in it very much
he's
without
so
realizing. Yeah. um. No, sorry. I just meant, would you like some company on the train, or do you tend to, keep to yourself? Am I intruding on your thoughts right now?
It's quite alright. I just like to watch the scenery go by. You can enjoy
Me
it with
too.
me if you'd like.
Maybe I will do that, and I'll lean back on the chair and look out the window.
You'll see quite a few mountains in the distance that have snow-covered peaks passing by swiftly, as well as the forests and grasslands that you pass through as you make your way across the continent.
Nice.
And we'll fade out, and we'll fade over to Kitasha and Edmund making their way to Cart 6.
Mhm.
Once again, in this room, there is the Flame Fur family. They're going to be directly to your right at a table. Once you enter the cart, there is also Brutus in this car and Eugene.
Okay. Kitasha will allow Edmund to take point, and we'll follow behind. Um,
Going to
and
stop you right.
if he makes no movement towards the flame furs, Kitasha will bend down to his ear and will like stage whisper, Master Edmund, isn't that your acquaintance, the flame furs?
He'll kind of laugh at that because I take it to be Kitasha's like, I waited 0.5 seconds for him to approach and he's not yet. And so he will
This
approach.
child is not going forward at the appropriate time measurements I have concocted.
Sir Nigel, is that you? And turning his head with the biggest, bushiest orange cat mustache you've ever seen. Oh, if it isn't Edmund! Come here, boy, it's good to see you. The other three at the table will turn and smile as you approach. And you are introduced to Nigel Flamefur, his wife Catherine Flamefur, their oldest son Augustus Flamefur, and their youngest Francine Flamefur. All of them are orange tabby cats. The only Nigel has the bushiest of mustaches.
Mhm.
Oh, it's good. Oh, who is your fair lady you have here beside you, Edmund?
And if Edmund does not introduce Kitasha.
Give me a moment to switch voices. Oh, yes, of course. This is Miss Kitasha. She's accompanying me on my way to the technology expo down in Radiance. And Nigel will turn to you. Oh, it is a pleasure to meet you, girl. And he'll hold out his hand to shake.
Yeah, Kitasha will shake it, and as she lets go, she is going to turn his hand a little bit so that hers is a little bit more on top of his hand before she lets go.
Proper girl. My apologies. It's been a while. Quite out of practice with, well, honestly, talking to most people. I've been trying to figure things out. And you kind of watch briefly as the children start tugging on Catherine, and she'll, oh, pardon me, they're getting restless. I'm going to take them for a walk. And they're going to walk towards the back of the cabin. And Nigel will, come, sit with me while they go. And Catherine, as she leaves, will do a small curtsy to you, Kitasha.
Mm-hmm.
And Francine will just stare at you with big eyes, curious.
Yeah, Kitasha will do a curtsy with a forehead touch, and as her hand is kind of like covering her head, she'll look down at Francine and give her a wink.
You'll
on
get
her
a
way back
giggle.
up. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you choose to sit, Nigel will begin talking to Edmund and you about all sorts of things, but he will slowly begin, as Edmund has asked about why they're going to Radiance. Nigel will begin filling you in on perhaps a bit too much detail than you actually really were needing. Because you feel very out of place here of this man you just met. But apparently, this entire trip to Radiance is actually for the health of Catherine and Francine. What you're able to gather from this is the two have struggled with some form of chronic illness, where their bodies will become rigid, and that's about the only thing he'll say about it. And he said that he had heard that warm climates should be better for their health. So they're actually going out for a month to stay in Radiance to see if that does any improvement on their health. And then if so, their plan is actually to move within the next few months down to Radiance.
Did Catherine seem to have any difficulty with curtsying?
No.
Okay. Interesting.
You could question him on this, or with the few things that he has said during this, you could give a medicine check, but at this point, with rigidness being the only thing he's mentioned so far, you'd need to roll a pretty high medicine check to be able to figure out what it is you think she has. Both her and Francine.
Mm-hmm. Just rigidness, Sir Nigel. No And it's not affecting you or your son?
Oh, it's a bit more than that, really. It's as he does that, his mustache flutters.
His toupee of a mustache flutters.
Exactly. See, it's quite startling at times. Sometimes it's when they're already asleep, but sometimes it just strikes them when they're standing and they'll fall. Rod stiff. And if you weren't to look close enough, you'd think them dead. And they won't move for minutes at a time. Sometimes the most I've seen is a couple of hours. And to be honest, it's a quite terrifying experience. Constantly going through wondering if your wife or your child is suddenly dead for no reason. But supposedly, so far, magic's not done much for it, and medicine is only getting us so far. Supposedly, the warm weather can help with muscle relaxant, and that should hopefully keep them from having these episodes. But
And you haven't tried any new diets or
well, we've tried
anything new?
different diets. We've tried. To be honest, this is kind of our last idea. We've been going through this for a while, but hopefully we will be able to find that Radiance is helpful. I hope. It's quite a morbid topic, really, but you know, what's a man to do but look out for his wife and family?
Of course. It's every family needs someone who is the glue to keep them together. Um, and I will do my medicine check.
Mhm.
Ooh, 19 on the die for 22.
Right, there, 22. Yeah, they both have catalepsy.
They both have
So,
what?
catalepsy. So this is a disease/disorder that causes the body to go extremely rigid and for their breathing to become faint to the point of it seems as though it's very easy to mistake them for dead. This can last anywhere from 10 minutes to several hours. And it's not well known what causes these attacks to hit. But it can happen even when someone is, say, standing and talking. They can suddenly be overcome by this and they will just fall rigid. It is especially a danger if they were to be out swimming or anything like that, because these effects could happen. You think the warm weather might be a bit of a long shot, but honestly, whatever they're willing to try, because there's very few things so far in this world that we are in that there's not been a ton of cases of catalepsy.
Okay. Kitasha will kind of like furrow her brow a bit. I apologize to you both that this may sound insensitive. I believe they have catalepsy.
Yes, I think that's probably the word. I'm sorry, all of the medical jargon really tends to get lost on me.
No,
But
that's quite all right. And I'm sure the warm weather will bring pleasure to you and your family.
I certainly hope so. if it makes their lives better, then I will move any business, anything I need to make it work there.
And seeing this hook, Kitasha, oh, you're a man of business. What is your trade? And we'll use that to kind of like meh, shift the conversation to something that's less depressing.
Oh, and he will begin speaking about the fact that he is a creator of textiles. So lots of different traditional tabaxi fabric that they've been using in some of the high fashions. He helps in the production of that and owns a couple of factories, and he explains how it's very ethical and they make sure that, all of their employees are very well taken care of.
Oh yeah, no kittens were harmed.
No kittens were harmed in the making of this fabric.
Yeah, Kitasha will ask to see swatches and all that other stuff.
Oh, he's got them on him. He's so
Of
excited.
course he does.
And we will fade out.
Hmm.
And we will fade into Mako trolling around the train. From starting in cabin 4, you are able to, that's where you had started out. Still throughout the time, Joe, Perigold, and Reginald are in there, and as you walk through the train, you can slowly see, you do end up passing by the Tabaxi family, so Catherine and her 2 children, and Francine will look at you as they're walking by and wave at you really excitedly before going into their room.
Well, way back to Francine.
And as you go on, you then will encounter, let's see, you walk through, there's another set of dorms, and you walk into the last food cart, where a elf man you have not seen before. He's got dark black hair, but very pale skin. He's currently writing in a notebook. You can't immediately decipher what language it is. But he seems to be taking down extensive notes.
Is he looking at something? Would be like in between notes, like I can't figure out what he's taking notes of, or is it like his own personal creation?
It seems to all be him.
Okay.
Just he doesn't seem to look up at anything. He's just writing.
All right. Man can do what he wants.
Yeah. This is the bar car, which from here, the next train would just be the staff quarters. Which, I mean, you're not technically barred from, but you're heavily discouraged from entering.
As I'm passing between carts, I want to check whether or not there is roof access anywhere.
Excellent question.
I'm gonna Polar Express this train.
Oh yeah.
Go
Without
ahead
Natasha.
and give me an investigation check.
Right. Flat roll. That's a 16.
Nice. You do notice in a couple of spots, so there is brief little spots of opening doors. The train is pretty closely linked together. So there's not huge gaps in between. Just enough for it to, whenever it's making turns, it's gonna be able to make the turns without, just falling off the rail.
Right.
However, there are several padlocked roof access points there is one in each of the sleeping cabins. Not specifically the rooms that you guys stay in, but in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one in each of those, and then as well as one in the middle dining car. Unless you try to sneak your way into the staff quarters, you're unsure about there, as well as the luggage storage.
Yeah, I don't think I'll invade the staff area just yet.
The staff are safe for now.
It's only day one.
True. Only day one.
How large are the windows?
They're quite large.
Are they openable?
There are little segments that you can open.
Okay.
For you would be able to, looking at it, if you were to open it, you would have to make a decent roll, but you would be able to maneuver yourself out on top of the train if need be. However, anyone much larger than you would not be able to. But there's a handful of those that are kind of built into the larger windows. But most of it is sealed.
Okay. I think the last thing I really want to check on is I want to head back to the sleeping cart, and I want to just check the padlock on that access port.
Of all of them, or which one?
The one our client's staying in.
Okay.
Number 7.
Yeah.
Us and our client.
Okay. Yeah, you can go in and check it. Let's see.
At the same time, I would check like the hatch itself, like whether or not it looks like it gets regular use, or if it's like a like it never is needed to be open kind of thing, or if it's like I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks to be more like a emergency hatch. So, like, if something were to happen, it would be a way that the staff could open up. Go ahead and give me a. Man, I keep going back and thinking of Pathfinder abilities. That's not how we do this. Go ahead and give me an investigation check on the lock, Mako.
No, that's a botch.
Man, that is the most sturdy lock. No one's ever going to be able to bust through that lock. That lock is so intense. It is a, just a heads up, it's kind of like a suitcase lock. If anyone remembers
like
those.
a tumbler.
Just like that little tiny little lock with a little key.
So honestly, like in actuality, if Mika gave it a hard twist, she could probably break it.
She probably could, but she doesn't know that. For all that she knows, she's like, that looks like it's sturdy.
It's so tiny. It's
Maybe
so
even
intricate.
it could even be that a little bit of dust when she went to move it fell into her eye, and she's like, it's booby trapped. It's good.
Yeah. Mako here with her rippling muscles being defeated by a suitcase lock.
Yeah.
Listen, the corset is restraining her. Oh no, she's have traffic clothes. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was like, the bustle's in the way.
All right.
All right. Anything else that Mako would like to check?
I think that's most of what I want to know, because like I want to be able to get access to the roof if I need to.
I had a feeling you would.
Because I can imagine a situation where the the cars are locked or something like that, and we need to get movement.
Okay. Yeah, it could happen. Give me an. Oh, what check do I want you to do really quick while you are walking through the cars? I want you to give me a insight check.
Oh. 8.
Nothing
I'm
is
sorry,
happening, Draco. You don't feel like you're being watched.
Mm.
You just don't. You know what? This is the least watched Mako has ever felt.
Mm.
I'm so sorry I took all the big high rolls at the beginning.
Oh, this is exciting. This made me happy.
I do think I should mention, just because it is important, that during my patrol, reminding you that I have a blind sight of 10 feet. How wide is the car?
Each car is about probably about 8 feet wide, 8 to 10 feet wide.
So, given that I do have my blind sight does stretch to the entirety of the car when I am walking across it. So, just in mind.
Oh, I know. I know. It is the least watched Mako has ever felt.
Mm.
There's so little people on this train.
There are very few people on this train, to be honest. Not everyone can afford the train.
Oh wait, hold up. I can roll I can pop a maneuver to add on to
A
insight.
superiority.
Yeah, so
Hold on, wait. You can pop a maneuver. Are you doing like a random backflip to try and get better? Like, it was just like, oh, guys, I jump.
No, Mako's going to do a 360 no scope. What are you
I can
talking
do a
about?
tactical assessment. And add a D8 to that. So
Come on, give us an 8.
actually, that's an 8 plus 3, so 11. Is that any better?
Okay. It's a little
It's
better.
better. I don't know if it does anything.
It's a little better. Mako feels a little watched, but can't really tell from who.
All right.
That's worse. Maybe you should undo that.
Yeah, Mako feels a bit uneasy on the train because it's definitely not so much you're realizing, okay, something's going on, but I'm not sure where it's coming from. And as you make your way through the cart, you notice as you see Edmund that he also is looking a bit, feeling like looking around, like you assume he's feeling like he's being watched. But he can't seem to pinpoint who it is either.
Is Kitasha also feeling like she's being watched?
Kitasha, give me an insight check.
Okay. Insight with my +9. 12.
A little bit. But you're not sure if that's just the large eyes of Nigel staring at you, hoping that you like the new fabric that he's handed you, or if someone else on the train is watching you.
Yeah,
and I half
Kitasha
feel like Joe might be asleep now by this point of watching the,
doing nothing but staring at grass.
Yeah. Am I wrong? What would Joe be doing? Would Joe like to roll insight?
I think, yeah, he may have been enjoying the view, but I do think he's still focused on the mission. So although he's not in the same room as Edmund, I'd like to think he'd maybe also, you know how in the train window you can sometimes see the reflection of the car that you're inside. So you can look, it looks like you're looking out the window, but you can still kind of get a vague sense of who's moving around near you. I think, yeah, some sort of perception or insight, I think, would feel appropriate.
Give me an insight.
Whee! That's a 12.
So, Joe,
Mm.
you feel very watched.
Hmm.
You feel more watched than the others. But you still can't figure out from who.
Joe thinks for a second and wonders if he's just feeling self-conscious or whether it's a legit feeling.
Joe is
So
unsure.
can I so in the room right now, in the car, sorry, I've got the lady across from me, the tabaxi who I've been speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else like after the lunch has died down and the afternoon has moved on? Is there anyone else in the car with me?
Reginald has moved on to, you believe, his room.
Mhm.
So she seems to be the only person in the car with you.
If you'll allow it, I'd like to cast Detect Magic. Just to read off the spell thing real quick. I sense the presence of magic within 30 feet. I can use an action to see a faint aura around any object or creatures that bears magic, and I learn the type basically. So I just kind of want to drop that right here, like maybe even while excusing myself
Mm-hmm.
from the table. So I sort of stand up, take a big stretch, and just cast it using a little gizmo in my pocket, or dropping a bit of glass over my eye and seeing what I can see.
You do not see any magic.
Joe feels both reassured and less assured.
As I hope to be.
Does
Yeah.
detect magic also let you know if like invisibility has been cast?
I suppose it would. It would give. It says it does a faint outline, so I suppose that would. But yeah, because assuming it's done by a magic spell, not by some other means, I guess. That may be more of a rules law question.
Yeah, generally,
Yeah.
non-magical invisibility is not picked up by detect magic. And there are
All right.
creatures that are naturally invisible, not by magic.
Yeah. All right. Well, I tried.
I would like to point out the times when you are feeling watched are not happening simultaneously.
You mean between the three characters?
Yes.
Okay. One more thing, if you'll indulge me, that I'd like to try. Is there a place I could, like, if I walk past the tabaxi and, I didn't write down her name. I'm sorry, I keep calling her to the tabaxi. If I walk past
Pennygold.
Pennygold, thank you. If I walk past Pennygold, so that like she's like behind me, she's looking away, like the other way, basically. So yeah, can I get the impression that there's no like I can't see anyone immediately that would be looking at me? Like based on what you said before, so there's no one else in the car, it's just her. So if I can move past her line of vision, I guess what I'd like to do is cast invisibility on myself.
Would you now?
Yeah, maybe I would. Unless that's scary, in which case maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. I basically what Joe wants to do, just so your understanding, is the feeling of being watched. He wants to see if it persists even while invisible, or whether that goes away.
So, when you stand and walk away,
Yeah.
it persists briefly and then goes away. If you do choose to still cast the spell,
Yeah.
I need you to tell me if you're doing that.
If it goes away when he stands up, what would he do? I think in that case, probably not. Like, if he still felt being watched, like all the way down the line of the car, but probably if if it was just while in around near to her. If anything, that raises more questions. I think Joe's got something he wants to talk about with the other party members when we next reconvene.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So no invisibility right now, probably.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So, going from there, the other time, that is not the right file, Michaela. That is not your campaign notes. There we go. So, going through the rest of your day, we're actually going to speed run this really quick because nothing happens. You go through and have your afternoon tea, and you have dinner, and each one is accompanied by a violin solo and a cello solo. And nothing really happens. You go about this time kind of on edge, and you had these brief moments of feeling like you were being watched. Edmund definitely has struggled the most with it, constantly looking over his shoulder, but there's nothing really that you can really immediately check. All you've noticed is just the other passengers on the train. But as you go through, seems to be a fine day, and you're able to go to bed, and at least Edmund will be retiring to bed. I would like to ask what you guys would like to do. Are you going to go ahead and go to sleep? Are you going to post a guard? Because you did briefly talk about this, and I want to put that in your...
I think, first of all, we'll make sure that Hercules is in the room with him, so that there's at least that base level of protection. I would like to suggest to you two, Joe says, I was thinking that once we've fully retired for the night and all lights are out and so on, I might leave the room while invisible and just stand guard for just 1 hour, just while the invisibility lasts, and see if anyone comes up to the door or if there's any suspicious activity going on in the car while I'm invisible. I don't know if you guys think that's pointless or an unnecessary risk, but that's what I'd like to try.
I think it might be more beneficial if we just take watches. Because being invisible for an hour in front of the door is helpful. But what about any other time?
I figured, I guess, if...
were to happen.
Right. I suppose I figured this might almost get something out of the woodwork a little quicker, rather than if we were keeping watch, that potentially could keep at bay whatever maybe going for this man, if that is even happening. Just a thought. Maybe we should just start with watches and just see how it goes. Or I could even turn invisible for part of my watch and just see what happens.
Yeah, we can do that. I think, though, I would at least feel better if one or all of us were to check the room before we all officially retire, just in case something has gotten in while we've been away.
I'll cast another detect magic while in his room specifically, maybe just before he goes to bed, just to see if anything comes up.
Things that glow from detect magic in his room. All of his equipment that he's been using to tinker glows.
Okay.
Hercules glows.
Nice.
A couple articles of his clothing glow, but you think that might be more like some fabrics are infused with magical abilities to try and keep them clean longer. But that seems to be it. Nothing else seems to glow in his room for it.
Okay. All right. Coast is clear. Seems fine to me. I'll take first watch.
Excellent. All right. What are our order of watches then? Starting with Joe.
Mako, do you want to just do our normal watch schedule, or did you want to switch?
What worked for you?
Okay. I think I'll take second watch, in the hopes that during third watch there'll be a little bit more light for you to see by.
Actually, I don't like. Given how small the space is here, I don't need light. I have a pretty good sense of my surroundings, even without light. It's close surroundings, but I don't need light when the cabin's only 10 feet across.
That's fair. Do you want to take second watch instead then?
Sure.
Perfect. And Kitasha will climb up to her bunk with her extra pillow and get extra snuggled.
Nice. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and get us started through this part of the night before we call it a night ourselves. We're going to start with Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I'd like a perception check. And hey, y'all, we need some wisdom checks up in here for our sleeping brethren.
Throw or saving?
Saving.
Oh no! I wasted all my good rolls.
Oh, excellent. Mako. Mako, my dear Mako.
Let's see.
Real quick. Are you wearing...
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm not even gonna ask. Well, no, I still will. Are you wearing that device that Valos made you to try and amplify the if there's a telepathic link?
Yeah.
I said that
Mako
word.
hasn't taken it off since Val's gave it to her.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I'm loving all of this. All right, Joe, I need you to roll a d6.
Yeah. I do not have dice next to me. Hang on.
I'll roll it. It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Joe, you notice nothing. Nothing happens
Yay.
on this train. Everything is dark and nothing happens. Right?
Nice.
Yeah, you don't notice anything.
Sounds good to me.
Kitasha! Your sister appears to you again. Your missing sister. With flowers adorning her face. Crystalline blooms of blue and a pinkish glow to them. And she looks as though she's screaming to you, but she cannot get any sound to you. Mako! My dear, dear Mako.
Mm-hmm.
You are overwhelmed by what sounds like Fritzica screaming.
It's a very strange noise for a drag queen to make.
It is a very strange noise. It doesn't even make sense in your own ears. Or your mental ears, however you want to do it. And that's how you wake up for your shift.
Alright.
Mako, it's time for your shift.
I think Mako wakes up because I can't remember. Did Mako have a top bunk or a bottom bunk?
Kitasha specifically got a top bunk.
I think both of you had top bunks, and Joe was the only one to choose a bottom bunk.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, the Mako careens out of bed and hits the floor hard.
Are you okay? It looked very cool.
It was not cool. And I kind of want this to be flavored like it did. Like if someone was watching that happen, it didn't look like Mako like just like rolled over and fell out of bed. It looks like she was shoved. Just from the force of that psychic scream.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Valos made me or got me some telepathic enhancers to help me listen better for my old general. They work. I heard him.
Oh,
I think they're gonna need some tuning.
do you want me to have a look at it?
Sure. Yeah. No. I gotta take these off for a bit. Do we ever describe what they look like?
No.
All right. I'm imagining it's like I'm imagining it's kind of just like a pair of aftershocks where it's just like the ring around the back of the head and it sits on temples.
Fair.
All right.
Would it be like an upside down aftershock where it loops like inside and then under and behind? Because you have
Oh yeah.
rabbit ears.
I don't think it needs to be the ears itself. I think it's more supposed to be the temples.
Like the temples or like the soft bone, like right in front of your ears.
I don't
Probably
know.
temples, considering it's telepathic.
Yeah.
It's not actually hearing.
Yeah. So Nicole will hand Joe this the telepathic enhancer. Yeah, if you have any ideas on how to make this thing work the way we want it to, it definitely
I'll
works.
have a look.
Because the dream I just had, I could physically feel Ritsuka's pain, and that was not great. And it's way more than the previous times, so that's something at least.
All right. I'll have a look in the morning. I'll see if I can upgrade them, fix them, something. I've got all my tools with me.
That sounds good. All right. Nico will just step out into the hallway then.
All right, Joe, are you going to sleep?
I will go to sleep. And I
Excellent.
will have a good sleep.
Have some wisdom saves for my people sleeping. Joe
An
sleeps
18,
well.
baby. Yeah.
Kitasha,
Yay.
also, your dream fades away and you get some blissful dreams of the sea.
Finally, after kicking the baseboard, whatever, on the bunk
Yeah.
and mumbling something, finally gets comfortable enough.
Ah, yes. Now, Mako, I need a perception.
All right. That's a good 19.
Excellent. All right, now let's see. As you're standing there waiting, a staff member will come by. They'll emerge from the left side of the room, so this is back towards carts 8 and such.
Mm-hmm.
Carrying a stack of blankets, and is just heading across the car to the next door. Do you stop them or anything?
I don't think so. Although I will just check as they're passing. Are they carrying a ring of keys, perhaps?
They are.
All right. I don't think I have the dexterity to snatch that right now. But I just wanted to be aware if they had keys that I could steal.
They do have keys.
All right.
Eventually, the staff member will walk back through, no longer carrying blankets, and be headed back towards the staff rooms. Otherwise, nothing else happens.
Hmm.
The short watch. You can wake Kitasha.
Yep. Hey, gotcha. Time for your watch.
Now, okay, here's the question. So, Mako, are you standing on the bottom bunk, like, hands on this, reaching up? Or are you doing, like, a hop each time to reach the top bunk? Like, hey, Kitasha, it's time for your watch.
I more imagine that she hopped once and then like grabbed like a ceiling tile or something like that to hold her up.
Oh, just a casual arm hang?
Yeah.
That's very paralysis demon of you, Mako.
I don't know. I often forget that I have twice like at peak physical strength, and so I need to show that off sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mako is small but mighty.
true.
But Kitasha will take one of the pillows and kind of roll over with it over her ears.
All right,
5 more minutes.
that's fine. Miko will drop back down and go back out into the hall.
Nothing happens in those 5 minutes.
If Yutasha doesn't show up, Mako's just gonna assume that she's taking over the watch.
Does Kitasha wake up?
Let's see, what would that be?
Let's make it a con save.
Yeah, a 19.
Yeah, she wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rolls, slides out of bed. Comes over. Okay, Mako, you can go to sleep.
Right.
I got this.
Alright. I mean, one more set of wisdoms and a perception.
Before going back to sleep, Mako's going to pick up and put the telepathic
Her
enhancer.
aftershock back on?
Yeah, just because like I think from her perspective, she can't afford to miss an opportunity, even if it sucks.
Yeah.
All right, wisdom save. Here we go. Better to 7.
If I could stop rolling the same number. There we go. That's better. Me with a section on here that's like, these are the things that have happened, but they can't happen one right after the other. Proceeds to just consistently get them. Alright. Joe, you sleep well. You just
That's a nat 20.
oozing away.
You know, this is why we play TTRPGs for escapism, you know, getting just a beautiful night's sleep.
Oh yeah,
This is
livable
lovely.
wages.
Alright, Mako. You hear Vritsika's voice, Quill's voice, and then 2 women you do not know. And their voices are talking in unison. And they are saying things of, we have no power here. We are stuck. We have no power here. the veils are lifting and we have no power here. Kitasha!
That's a 24.
Yeah. As you're standing watch, you will notice one of the doors open. And that elf man that no one has deemed to talk to yet, will emerge from his room and begin walking towards the back train car, the car 8, the bar car.
Okay. If he does he have a light on him at all?
No.
No. Okay. I'm assuming he has dark vision.
Yeah.
But Kitasha's eyes will be a lot like how cats or dogs or most like animals with nocturnal eyes, where it's just like two shiny coins looking at you in the dark.
He will notice you and nod to you and then continue walking. He does have a notebook in hand.
With my perception, if it's open to a page, can I discern any of it?
You can certainly try.
Is it in a language I know?
Let's find
Can
out.
Can I just use this roll? Do I have to?
Give me.
I can re-roll. It was just such a good roll.
It was such a good roll. What languages do you speak?
I'll speak. Common, Goblin, Orc, and Primordial.
You do not recognize this language.
Is it too fancy?
It's fancy, but creepy at the same time.
Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't recognize this person.
No, you've not spoken to him.
Okay.
He has been on the train the whole time. You've briefly seen him, but you have never once spoken to him.
Okay.
Um,
What is he wearing?
he is
Is
wearing.
he like actually wearing clothes, or is he wearing pajamas?
He is wearing just regular day clothes. Still his normal, like, it's a nice suit. It's not like anywhere near as fancy as some of the people on this train, but it's just a 3-piece suit. Does Kitasha have much knowledge on elves?
A little bit, although it might be a bit outdated. Specifically for high elves, not any other subspecies.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Give me a history check, and we'll see if.
-1. You know what? It could be worse.
Could be worse. You vaguely remember somewhere someone saying that elves don't need to sleep. You wonder if that's part of it.
Yeah, like just as he passes, Kitasha will whisper out, happy writing.
He'll stop, then he'll turn to you and nod and continue out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep your watch there, or do you go after him?
I'll keep my watch here.
Okay. Nothing else will happen. The sun will rise and we will start day 2 of our lovely, lovely train adventure. We're having so much fun. But now, my dear friends, much like the people that we were just playing as, it is time for us to hopefully have better dreams and go to bed.